Hi, everyone. I'm Dina Proctor, creator of 3 by 3 Meditation and author of Madly Chasing Peace. I want to share a little bit today about the length and frequency of meditation. As I tend to think of it, meditation for me is not an action item on my to-do list. It's more a state of being that I like to cultivate several times a day. And the question comes up once in a while, like, is 3 minutes really enough time to meditate, or do you really have to meditate 3 times a day? And the reason that 3 by 3, 3 minutes, 3 times a day, 3 by 3 meditation, why that works so well for me. Well, when I first started meditating, I couldn't sit still for much time at all. It was, I was detoxing from an alcohol addiction. I was crazy in my mind with suicidal thoughts. It was just impossible for me to sit still for longer than a couple of minutes here and there. And I can tell you, I really wasn't meditating, even though I was sitting still at that time. But the way that it kind of evolved for me was that 3 minutes, I was able to sit still for 3 minutes at a time. And I would do those 3 minutes several times a day, really so that I could kind of make it into 20 minutes total. That was the reason that I did it several times a day. But what I know now from talking to neuroscientists and cell biologists and people who really understand how the brain works and how our thoughts and emotions contribute to what we are creating in our lives is that the more frequently that you can tap into that alternative state, that state of peacefulness and of mindfulness and of inner peace inside of yourself, the more frequently that you can access that, you will start living from that space more and more frequently. Does that make sense? So, you want to exercise a muscle. You don't exercise. I know you don't go to the gym 3 times a day, but we do take care of our body several times a day. We nourish our body several times a day. So I think of meditation as food for my soul. So if I'm nourishing my body several times a day, I'm nourishing my soul several times a day. And I'm bringing to mind one woman in particular who I was helping with her meditation practice. Well, she already had a meditation practice, and she would do an hour or 90 minutes in the morning. That was her meditation practice. And I think that's great. I don't think 3 by 3 is by any means better than any other way of meditating. It's just what happened to work for me, and now it helps people. So that's why I share it, and that's why I'm an advocate for it, I guess you could say. But when she was explaining to me the 60 or 90 minutes and how sometimes she doesn't have time for that, but then her whole day is off if she doesn't have her meditation time. And so I asked her, I said, what is that space inside that you access within those 90 minutes? Like, what does that do for you when you're meditating for that long? When I asked her that question, her body visibly shifted. She kind of sunk into herself a little bit and said, oh my gosh, when I meditate like that, it's amazing the feeling that I feel inside. I feel peaceful. I feel open. I feel like anything's possible. I feel like nothing can bother me. Everything goes right through me. It's just, I feel transparent in the world. And that's how I feel when I'm meditating, And so I loved that she shared that. And it was so interesting because when I asked that question, and in the amount of time it took her to have that kind of visible emotional mental shift and share that with me, probably took less than 30 seconds. And she was actually accessing that state as she was sharing about it. So my point was, you don't even need 3 minutes. You just did it in 30 seconds. That's what it's about, is tapping into that place of that inner peace. And I get it. Sometimes we have crazy minds and it's hard. 3 minutes goes by like that. You're still thinking about your dog that you left at the vet. You can't, sometimes it feels really hard to be able to shift gears that quickly. And that's fine. Longer meditations, I'm all for it. Sometimes I do longer meditations. I think whatever works for anybody is great. But my point in this story is that in as little as that 30-second jump, or in as little as the time it takes to take 3 deep breaths, we can change our focus. And I would venture to guess that our brain waves, the state of consciousness reflected in our brain waves, would begin to be, measurably different with just, 10, 20, 30 seconds. The amount of time it takes to shift our focus like that. And for me, it was 3 minutes, 3 times a day that changed everything I wanted to change and transform about my life. And so it doesn't have to be the way that works for everybody, but it is a great example that it doesn't have to be something that takes a huge amount of time or that busy people can't do. It's possible for every single one of us, not just to find these pockets of peace. Well, yeah, that's really important too, but in finding those, being able to harness that access to our inner guidance and wisdom and be able to experience transformation in our outer lives, in our bodies, in our relationships, in our businesses as well. So, I hope this was helpful for you. I love sharing things that kind of come up or questions that people have or questions that I had when I as I've been going, or questions that I still have. It's so rewarding for me to be able to share something, because I know that if it's something that is coming up for me, it's probably something that's coming up for other people too. So as always, I so appreciate you spending this time here with me, and just stay tuned here. I will see you again soon. Thank you.